Scott, you know, one of the videos, let's put it up, it shows a patrol agent swinging a horse rein in a way that looks to many like a whip. Is that troubling to you?
I'll tell you what's troubling to me, candidly, Don, is the instant attempt to vilify these Border Patrol agents that are clearly overwhelmed. You showed the pictures, thousands upon thousands of people trying to stream into this country illegally. These Border Patrol agents are doing the best they can in an impossible situation. Then you have all these people swooping in trying to vilify them, and now they've been placed on administrative leave. You know, there was an instant sort of react, oh, they're using whips. They're not whips, they're reins, as you correctly called them. And so I don't like the idea that we ask these public servants to do an impossible job and then we vilify them because people don't know the difference between whips and reins. I mean, I don't like this whole situation. I don't like thousands of people. I don't like the fact that the Biden administration has failed. I don't like the fact that Kamala Harris is MIA on all this. But I don't think these Border Patrol agents ought to take the brunt of our anger about a failed policy. Bakari's right, it is a failed policy. And Joe Biden's the president. And he's got to have to do something about this because this is a disaster and a disgrace.
Go ahead, Bakari.
Nothing that Scott said outside of the fact that it's a failed policy actually rings true. First, Kamala Harris did speak out against it, but they have to do more. She has to not only speak out, but hold Mayorkas accountable, and I agree with that. But the fact that look, I have a great deal of sympathy and compassion for our law enforcement in this country. It's a very difficult job that they have. But when you start whipping people and you want to split hairs between reins and whips, I don't care what it is, that lacks humanity. And if you don't have the compassion or ability where you blow a gasket and you can't do the job, then don't do it. But my God, you can't beat people. You can't separate them when they're in your custody and yell at them and treat them like they're less than human. Like, no one's asking Border Patrol to do anything other than treat them with their humanity. We know they're put in a very difficult situation. There's no doubt. But the point is, you can't treat people like they're less than just garbage or trash. And that's the biggest problem that we have.
You don't think they're outmanned, Bakari? You don't think that there is some truth to the Border Patrol agents being outmanned?
No, there's no question that Border Patrol probably needs to be paid more. They have positions that need to be filled. I mean, I'm sitting here in a hotel room in Petersburg. I'm not on the border with them. I completely understand all of that. But all I'm talking about, Don, is common decency. Like, you can't whip people's ass with a whip or a rein and say you're doing your job simply because your job gets difficult. You treat people with humanity. None of those migrants were any type of lethal or deadly threat to any of them. But instead, they treated them like garbage. And I don't care what anybody says about how difficult your job is. You better get some compassion, or you better get some empathy, because that's just not right.
I would just say, you've got a few guys on horses and thousands of people streaming across the border. What is the alternative, Bakari? Are they supposed to just stand back and let people stream across the border? I mean, I know that's what a lot of Democrats think is the correct policy, but I don't think that's what the American people want. There has to be some order to this. I actually believe we ought to be taking in refugees, people seeking asylum. I believe in that, and a lot of Republicans do. But what we don't believe in is letting people stream across the border, come into the country illegally, outside of any recognized process. That's what we don't have. And you put these Border Patrol agents between a failed policy and thousands of people that want to come in, and then you show up and try to vilify them for riding a horse, and you can't tell the difference between whips and reins. I think it's disgusting. So we have to have compassion, but we got to have laws and a process, and that's why these Border Patrol agents are in such a rough spot here.